What's up, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. Today we are going to do something a tiny bit different. It's not going to be necessarily a film review, but we are going to rank my Marvel movie list from top to bottom, worst to first. And we're starting right now. Okay, so to many of you, again, this list for every single person can be completely different. For me, this is my list. Love it, hate it, whatever you may think about it, but this is what you get. Coming in, and I think I'm gonna have to actually, because when I originally made this list, there were a few movies that actually hadn't come out yet, but we're gonna throw them in there somewhere. I don't know where they're. But coming in at last, and I believe that might be number 18, I think so, maybe 20 at this point. No, 19 is going to be The Incredible Hulk. I don't really need to go into much detail. I mean, I think that at the time that The Incredible Hulk was made, I don't think Marvel really had any intention or knew exactly what they were going to end up with at the time when all this stuff really started. And then the next on the list is going to be, and I know a lot of you don't really love this movie, is going to be Iron Man 3. This movie, I really don't necessarily know exactly what they thought they were actually going to do. I think they just thought, well, it's Iron Man and we have to make a trilogy, so let's go ahead and make that shit. Sadly on the list, the next one for me is gonna be Iron Man 2. I just didn't really like it. So this one's gonna piss a lot of people off, and I probably need to go back and watch this movie again, but Captain America. For me, Captain America was not fantastic. I know Captain America, the first Avenger, was supposed to be a big one for a lot of people, but for me, just didn't do it. Next is going to be Avengers 2. I think for obvious reasons, I think a lot of people actually consistently do not like Avengers 2 for the same reasons that the majority of most people do. And that's because Ultron really was not as well done as probably it could have been. Next, and this was a difficult one for me because I don't dislike anything about this particular movie character. And honestly, I love Natalie Portman, as I've said before in a previous review on another movie that she's made, but Thor, Dark World, there's a lot of things that are wrong with this movie. There's a lot of things that this movie actually was trying to do, but it just failed for me. And again, it has to fall somewhere on the list. There's no rhyme or reason, but it definitely, when we get to the top, it definitely didn't make the cut. The next one on the list is probably going to be a disappointment for some of you. Maybe, maybe not. I'm not really sure. Ooh. But Black Panther, well, you know, it really wasn't that good. I thought Black Panther, the pacing was slow. I thought some of the CG in the movie was bad. I was not really as moved as apparently the rest of the world was by this movie. I had no interest in the backstory of King T'Challa or any of those people. It just, you know, as a character, I just felt that they had to make a movie because they need to put him in Avengers, and that was what they needed to do. They could have made a much better movie. There's definitely some room for improvement in the next. For me, this was a very difficult choice because I do love this movie, but it clearly was not as good as its predecessor, and that is Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I thought that the motivations for the bad guy really wasn't that well done. I thought that the character development for the Guardians actually was poor. I thought that they did not really do anything to actually improve your interest in these characters whatsoever. Star-Lord, I mean, he just seemed like a baby that was happy to find his dad, and that just sucked. Coming in at number 11, or is it 10? I'm gonna think it's 11, is going to be the original Iron Man. Iron Man, we know, is what really started it all off, and I thought Iron Man was a great movie. However, when you look at all the advancements that took place after the original Iron Man, as far as CG and as far as the capabilities of just movie production goes, everything else improved. But Iron Man, you are what gave us everything that was to follow after that. But I still had to put you in the middle of the pack because there's a lot of other great movies to follow. Next on the list is going to be Thor. You know, I was really hyped up to see Thor a long time ago. Not that it's a bad film. There are some other great movies in the Marvel Universe that Thor just is not. In the original Avengers movie, I felt that they did a phenomenal job. The good guys, the bad guys, everybody had their shine in this movie. Again, a lot of other great movies to follow. And this was really a tough one as far as which ones I was going to swap between. I'm just going to go ahead and say it, Ant-Man 2. I really did not want to put it here, but again, it did well. It just, I think I already talked about that in the review. Go back and watch it. Doctor Strange. I actually really enjoyed Doctor Strange. I thought the beginning of it was very, very slow, but as far as an origin film goes, I think they actually knocked that out the park. They swung for the fence on this one, and they did a pretty damn good job. So the next film on the list, I will say, I felt like this was just another Avengers film, but Captain America Civil War. Next on our list is going to be the first Ant-Man. I really was digging this film. Ant-Man was a character that I didn't really follow a ton. I thought Rudd did a fantastic job. Evangeline Lilly has always been one of my favorite people. I've loved her since Lost, but they did a good job. The one thing that I will say that I didn't like this movie was T.I., but T.I. is T.I. What can I say? Coming in next on the list is Guardians of the Galaxy. I love this film. Guardians of the Galaxy is awesome. So it was funny, it had humor, it had action, it had great acting. Guardians of the Galaxy is the epitome of what I feel a lot of Marvel's movies went to. In fact, I believe Guardians of the Galaxy is what actually made the turn for what a lot of, well, one of the next movies I'm going to be talking about. Now this movie is actually a Sony picture, but they worked well when it came with the Marvel Universe. It is still in the Marvel Universe, but it is not owned by Disney, and that is Spider-Man Homecoming. I didn't really necessarily say that I liked Spider-Man Homecoming better than I liked the other movies with Garfield Spider-Man. I wish they had have actually let that guy finish out his trilogy because I really wanted to know where he was going to go from there. But Spider-Man Homecoming, as far as a soft reboot of a film, did a fantastic job, and it actually just worked well with what Marvel was trying to do. So Spider-Man Homecoming, next on the list, there you go. We are finally to the top 3 films in my list of what the best Marvel films are. And the next one on this list is going to be Thor Ragnarok. You know what? I didn't really care that much for the first Thor. I mean, it wasn't bad. It was okay. As far as the second Thor movie, I liked that one even less. Thor Ragnarok, I feel that they fixed everything that this movie actually, I don't even know the best way to put it, but they obviously took what Guardians of the Galaxy was doing and they kind of wove that into Thor. They gave him a sense of humor. They actually put comedy in this movie. And we know that that's kind of what Marvel Universe has actually been doing. They've been weaving comedy and action all in together. You know, there were times that you're thinking that the comedy is out of place, but it worked well for it. So there we go. Thor Ragnarok coming in at number 3. Coming in at number 2 is going to be Captain America Winter Soldier. So when I was going through this list, and I had to go actually back and I watched Winter Soldier so I could actually, because I'm not gonna lie, originally it was gonna be near the bottom of my list because Captain America just is not, he's just not one of my favorite Marvel characters. But when I went back and watched the film, and I'm thinking like, well, damn, that actually is a pretty damn good movie. And so I had to kind of go back, reevaluate my list, and I put it in at number 2. And last but not least, if you haven't already realized, the only one movie that I haven't talked about is Avengers Infinity War. Now, I've already did a review on that movie. I'm not going to sit here and do it again. Everybody's already seen it. Marvel's Infinity War is badass. Thanos is a badass. Avengers, they were all badass. I really don't even know. I'm looking forward to the sequel. I don't know how you're gonna follow that up, but Avengers Infinity War is number 1 on my list of Marvel's films. There you go. There's my top list, 18, 19, however many movies there are as far as the Marvel Universe goes. I think, has one come out since I started this? I don't think so. No, there's not, but I'm sure there will be. Yeah, so anyway, tell me what you think your top list of Marvel movies. You don't gotta give me the top 19 because honestly, when you get down to the bottom, at the very, very bottom, it's kind of very tough and you're just sort of flipping a coin at that point. But give me your top 5. If this is your first time to my channel, please subscribe. All right, if you're feeling what I'm dealing, hit me in the comment box below and let me know.